Hi, I am James Governor, co-founder of RedMonk. This is Kate Holterhoff, senior analyst at RedMonk.
Hello.
And we are here to give us our reckons about Microsoft Build 2026. So this is a quick take. We're just going to say some of the things we found interesting about the event. We are here. It is a beautiful day in Fort Mason in San Francisco. I think the first thing that I thought was sort of quite noticeable, because Microsoft, the fact that they sort of made the event smaller and more intimate. That was a focus for them, and more developer-y.
Right.
There was clearly a decision that they wanted to make it look more like a GitHub event, and I think they have succeeded. So the first thing I have noticed is that it's just felt quite sort of GitHub-y and developer-y.
Yeah.
That was my first takeaway. Kate,
Oh my gosh.
what have you been noticing in the keynote and everything else?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, so the keynote was pretty cool. They had us pretty close to the front. And so I was able to marvel at all the wonderful videos that they were playing. And we had the CEO front and center where we were able to check out all of his pores or whatever. I can't. No, it was great. We had a lot of announcements. I was super interested in a lot of the hardware stories. I mean, there were all these interesting devices that they were premiering.
I did not know you were going to lead with hardware, by the way.
I'm sorry. I know.
Okay,
I can't help it. It feels like the right story to
tell.
tell.
Do you want one of those, like, Qualcomm communicator, Star Trek,
yes,
Agent?
I do. I want to have my lanyard here that kind of snaps back. I mean, it was neat. He's got the camera inside of it. I like the facial recognition because I don't want to be typing in codes. I mean, I feel like we're post remembering 4-digit codes. So this is, I've moved beyond it. I don't know if the rest of the world has. Anyways, so I enjoyed that. It was very cool. Also, my God, yeah, the GitHub app. I mean, that's going to be pretty cool too. So having a way to have an IDE that is integrated allows for the agentic experience that is not going to be, I don't know, that we're not, having to access it via the browser all the time. So
is it an IDE? I think it's sort of almost like an IAE. It's an integrated agent experience.
Well, they led with the idea of it being an app. So,
yes.
I feel like maybe the naming is they're still maybe working out the kinks there because, when I think of some of the other desktop apps that I am using in order to leverage my own agents when I'm programming, that seems to be the way of things. So anyways, but they've kind of a neat approach, like some of the ways that you're going to be able to condense chats and be able to search for what, the actual context that you're looking for. Seems worthwhile, and is tied to what you were saying about it feeling more like a developer conference, which GitHub, who has had their own conference here at Fort Mason in the past, has been doing for years.
Yeah, so I think the app is going to be really interesting. If we think about, the one thing that you want is a single context. You don't want to constantly going one place to another to check what the agent's doing, going into a different GitHub environment, looking at that repo, doing all of this stuff. So bringing all of that together, so regardless of where you are in the process of development, and of course you've got the canvas so that you can actually look at the app and get that feedback.
Right.
I do think that notion of an integrated agent environment, it's probably time for that. And it does make sense that GitHub Copilot app sort of would be the place that happened.
Yeah, for sure. I know Flow seemed to be front and center for a lot of the announcements. I mean,
Flow, yes,
yes,
that's right.
Absolutely. I know there was this emphasis on where you want your taskbar. That was big.
You
I know
love
that's
that.
my favorite example. We've had it demonstrated to us several times. But anyway,
you can have it to the side.
I know, or top.
It's back
over here.
There we go.
But maybe more importantly for this, you're able to silence a lot of the distractions. So making sure that you don't have like pop-ups coming up.
It's not like having me there. It's calm. I'm not.
James,
it's not.
He's
There's
just
not
tapping on my shoulder.
so many interruptions.
I have a question.
Hey, Kate.
I want to tell you a story.
Yeah, you ready? Okay, so it's a calm environment where that doesn't happen.
Yes. So hopefully at least your desktop, you're having a calm environment. But yeah, I mean, that kind of goes back to the hardware thing, right? Today we're introduced to some of the new Surface laptops coming out in the fall. And again, like having this experience for developers where they are trying to strip away a lot of the distractions that can come in when folks are trying to get into that flow state.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah.
Devs don't like Clippy. They don't want that. They don't want the Copilot in their face all the time.
Yes.
So yeah, just thinking about how do we have some default configs, Windows 11, that will help developers be more productive. And on that note, there's just a bunch of stuff that that Microsoft they've been on this journey to try and make their hardware a more attractive dev platform. So things we've seen in terms of announcements. Further improvements with WSL, Windows Services for Linux. So if you're a Linux user, it feels like an environment you're used to. They've got better support for Linux commands. That's super important because you don't want to go in and be like, oh, this is my Linux environment, but I can't grep. That's ridiculous. So they've been fixing some of that stuff. And then I think the other thing that they're working on is these Windows execution containers. So sandboxes.
Oh, wow.
2026, people say it's the year of the agent. No, it's the year of the sandbox.
Absolutely.
There are so many sandbox platforms. So obviously, Microsoft has to have a Windows-based sandbox execution environment. So when you're using agents on Windows, it doesn't do bad things. And I thought it was interesting. They immediately leaned into why don't you delete all of the files on the desktop? And
so
it was
funny.
like, no.
Scott Hanselman.
Scott Hanselman, so funny, so good.
Yeah.
There you go. But I mean, Scott, to be fair, look, I mean, this is a guy that he spends a lot of time using technology to manage his glucose levels as a diabetic. And one of the first questions I asked him like a few months ago was like, wait, you're not going to use OpenClaw for this?
Yeah.
And he's like, look, James, OpenClaw can be secure in the way I want to secure it.
All right.
And some of those sort of thoughts, that's what they're trying to do with Windows and making that a native thing.
Yeah. James.
Yes.
We haven't talked about the models.
We haven't talked about the models yet. So honestly, there's a lot of models.
There's so many models.
We've got the Mythic Quest Aion models.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
I know, I didn't even mention those.
Yeah, so
total.
I know there was so much news.
Yeah.
So like we have these local models. It's gonna be amazing.
Okay.
Token efficiency.
Yes.
Big deal. The best token that the best token you burn is just not burning a token.
That's
the
right.
second best one is burning it
One in your
locally.
pocket.
The one in your pocket.
That's right.
The one in your Qualcomm device. That's a good token. So
Yes.
don't burn all the tokens. Use your Aion local models. It's going to be interesting to see people do, some of the things like transcription,
Yes.
maybe some of those code. I think that it is true. We can't always be shoveling our cash into Anthropic and OpenAI's pockets because they'll just burn it anyway. So, we should probably think about token efficiency. That was a big theme. So that not just the Aion models, though, they introduced the MAI, the Microsoft AI models, which Mustafa Suleyman, if we're to believe how good he was like, these are the best models you have ever seen. Like, if they're that good, then today it's a new industry.
Yeah.
It is a new industry. OpenAI will be like, oh dear. Except Microsoft invested so much in OpenAI. It's
right.
Anyway, this is getting dangerous.
This is.
But yes, the up and down the stack, that's the real thing I want to comment on. So Microsoft now has its own models, trained on its own chip architectures.
Yeah.
In the cloud, they are in control of their costs in a way they were not before. So we think about the hyperscalers, you've got Google over there, and they are a full stack player. Microsoft at this build was very much like, we have AI capabilities up and down the stack.
Right.
And I think if they have competitive frontier models, it really is a big change.
Yeah.
So we'll hear from developers. It's very early. Models are just dropped.
Yeah.
If people start saying this is competitive with what we get from Anthropic and OpenAI, yes, that is going to be absolutely huge for Microsoft and the industry at large.
Yes. I mean, a lot of folks who are following the AI space have benchmark fatigue for sure. And I definitely felt the weight of that, of like, okay, you're telling us these are going to be good. So kicking the tires is going to be a big part of this. Which model are you most excited to kick the tires on? Speech to text, What we got? Transcription. You don't even know. You don't even know. Okay, I'll tell you which one I am. Images. I still struggle with a lot of the different models that are
Don't let my daughter see this show now, because if she knows that we're using AI to generate images, I'm in.
But she's right now. They do not work as well as I would like.
We got to see Simon Willison.
Yeah.
We got to see what it does with
pelicans.
a pelican riding a bike, and then we'll know if it is good.
Okay. The only benchmark that we care about at RedMonk is pelicans on bikes.
Yeah. Well, and one-shotting your app. We always
I don't believe in one-shotting. I said it here. This is lots to be explored in the coming months as these things are released, GA'd, whatever. But I mean, the 7 MAI models. Are they pronouncing it MAI or MAI?
Well, I think it should be MAI, but they're calling it MAI because they're Microsoft. They love TLAs. So, it's
all right.
I think MAI is better, but that's why they pay us the medium-sized bugs instead of the Microsoft-sized ones. So anyway, a lot of news, a lot to digest. It honestly, it was like a 2.5-hour keynote, very information dense. They had to throw in talking about quantum, which I do not care about at the moment very much.
Oh, you're wrong about that.
But
I'm all in.
You're all in?
You're absolutely.
I mean,
the more science fiction,
Okay, there you go. The thing looks good.
This is the future.
Okay, the future. We love the future.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's our quick take, isn't it? That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That was not a quick take.
Talking about a medium-sized.
This is a medium-sized take. So this is Kate Holterhoff, James Governor at Microsoft Build 2026 with our medium-sized take.